From 1909 to 1965, most Mexican American students in Marfa, Texas, were educated separately from their white peers. Mexican Americans attended Blackwell, a segregated school where children were taught from the 1st to the 8th grade. Legally, segregation only applied to black students at the time. In practice, segregation was applied more broadly. At Blackwell, some students found a certain kind of refuge.
It was a safe space because I was surrounded with my own race here at the school. Out there in town, I wasn't. I was treated different out there in town and other places. Even the church had it segregated. One for the whites, one for the Hispanics. You would think that they would say, well, anybody can come to this church, anybody can go to the other. No. We were segregated.
Segregation was part of everyday life for Mexican Americans in the early 20th century. They couldn't sit in the same seats as whites in the theater. They were refused service at some restaurants and hotels. Even cemeteries were segregated, with separate sections still visible today. These divisions were so deeply ingrained, some children grew up thinking they were normal.
We never felt segregation because we didn't know what it was. So we didn't, I tell my friends and everybody that asks about it, just how they feel to come to a segregated school. It feels normal because I didn't even know what the word was.
Spanish was the only language most students at Blackwell knew. One day, in 1954, a teacher decided to ban students from speaking Spanish by staging a mock funeral for the language beneath the American flag outside the school. Any student who dared defy the prohibition could expect to be whacked with a wooden paddle. On the day of the mock funeral, Maggie Marquez turned to her friend and said, "Nadie me va a parar que yo no hable el español." Nobody is going to stop me from speaking Spanish. Maggie didn't realize that a teacher was standing right behind her.
She was overheard, marched to the office, and she got up paddling. Her back was black and blue.
Today, almost 60 years since the school closed its doors, former students and their allies are working to make the school a National Historic Site. If they're successful, Blackwell would become the first site within the National Park Service that preserves a segregated Latino school.
It means a lot to me, to my fellow classmates, to everybody who came to Blackwell. Even my parents attended Blackwell. It means a lot to everybody because we are someone. We matter.